Imagine, what if the President of the United States suddenly died? Not in some distant future, but right now in a moment of crisis. The world is left in shock as the leader of one of the most powerful nations on Earth is gone. What would happen next? Would the nation remain stable, or would it be thrown into chaos? The immediate aftermath, the first thing we notice is the shock. In a time when leaders are rarely replaced without years of preparation, the sudden loss of the president would send shockwaves through the political landscape. The vice president would immediately be sworn in as president. As per the U.S. Constitution, this is a contingency that's always in place. But this transition wouldn't be without complications. If the president were to die unexpectedly, it would be up to the vice president to take over immediately. But what about the power vacuum left behind? Could the vice president handle this sudden responsibility? And who else would step up in this moment of crisis? Political consequences in a world where politics is often full of alliances and power struggles. The death of a leader creates an unprecedented opportunity for other political figures. Would the Speaker of the House become the next person in line? Would it cause a divide in the party? In a time of high-tension domestic issues, international relations, and more, the new president would face an uphill battle to unite the country and regain the people's trust. Global reactions. Globally, the shockwaves would be felt far and wide. Would foreign leaders take advantage of this power shift? Nations like China, Russia, or even North Korea might see this as a chance to test the U.S. They might push for actions in global diplomacy, military responses, or even trade. How would other world powers respond to the change in leadership? This would surely have massive consequences on the international stage. How would the government function? The U.S. government has contingency plans for moments like this. The National Security Council and the executive branch will be working overtime to make sure the country keeps running smoothly. But how would Congress respond to a new, untested leader? Would they act quickly to support? Or would there be political gridlock in the midst of the crisis? With military decisions hanging in the balance, who would make the call? The military-industrial complex has a huge influence, but could the new president navigate that influence without making catastrophic decisions? What would happen to the U.S. economy? A sudden vacuum in leadership would undoubtedly affect the stock market. The economy is fragile, and uncertainty breeds fear. Would investors panic, sending the economy into a downward spiral? Or would the new leadership manage to quickly stabilize the market? Would banking systems hold, and could the new president bring about economic reforms quickly enough to prevent disaster? The public's reaction. On the streets of America, what would happen? Would there be riots? Would people unite behind the new leader? Or would political divides deepen? In the age of social media, the death of a leader would explode across the internet in an instant. Conspiracy theories would emerge, and everyone would have an opinion on how to move forward. Would there be a wave of support, or would the nation fall into turmoil? With so much at stake, how would the citizens respond to the sudden death of their leader? What would the future look like? In the long term, the United States would likely survive, but the ripple effects of losing a leader at such a critical time would have consequences for years to come. Would we see a new era of leadership? How would this shift impact the next election cycle and the political landscape for the coming generations? What would America look like without its figurehead? Would this power shift be a catalyst for change, or would it destabilize the nation? And how would other nations view America after the sudden loss of its leader? Imagine, if a situation like this were to unfold tomorrow, what kind of world would we wake up to? Would the new president rise to the challenge, or would the United States become unrecognizable? The world would never be the same. Let us know your thoughts in the comments below. What do you think would happen in such a scenario? And don't forget to subscribe to X Imagine for more thought-provoking questions like this.